G'day, guys. Welcome back to another episode of the Aussie Screen Printing Club. I'm here with Sam and I'm Josh, here for another episode, and we have some good guests on as well, so that's exciting.
Yeah, hopefully. How you going? What you been up to?
We're Today, particularly, has been one of those days that I started a quote at like 7 this morning, and I only just sent it because I'd do a little bit on it, and then someone would come in, or I'd have to go do something, and then I come back and I do a little bit more, and they have to run away and come back. So it was one of those days.
Yeah,
Um, so we kind of didn't really think ahead about the public holiday in Victoria on Monday, and that affected us a fair bit. So everything turned up today, and we
right.
have heaps of stuff that was due like tomorrow or today. So um, yeah, pretty flat out, just trying
Right
to
out.
smash out as much as we can.
Is that mostly embroidery or a bit of everything?
Mostly printing.
Right.
Yeah, where you could chip away at the embroidery. In the meantime, at least we had sort of a bit more control over that. But the DTF and stuff only came today, so had a bunch turn up.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow.
What
Yeah.
about you?
Same, really, in terms of today feeling frenetic. I live in the vain hope that I'll be able to sit in my office and not be interrupted. But all kinds of things are going wrong today. And then um, I can't believe I thought of this, but we got a huge four engine uh, air compressor for the Rock. And I walked past it and thought, man, I haven't checked the filters on those for a while. It's got a, um, and what are those other units called? I can't remember.
Oh,
Basically,
like the dryer.
yeah, it takes the moisture and
Yeah.
the dirt out and stuff. So I thought, I better look at the little filter. Anyway, it was full of water. I was like, oh,
Oh, true.
yeah. So I thought, oh, I'll just try and wheel that out and blow it out. And because it's huge. So I had to put it on a pallet truck in the end. Um, but I was back and forward and I couldn't get a hose to fit. And eventually I just opened it up and stood back. Just water everywhere. But yeah, that was a stupid thing to do on my own. Um, but yeah, we've had a few of those kind of, oh, I need this by Friday. All right, okay. They don't tell you, and then they pay, and then our system allocates a date. They get the
Mhm.
email. They go, "It's going to be printed 2 weeks from now, and that's no good." And yeah, okay, and you can only cope with so many of those in the in the print queue before you
Mm.
just fall over. But yeah, it's all going well. We're happy. We've hit our targets. We've beat our targets. Um, Last month was way up. I think same for you. You've been going pretty well.
Yeah, we almost we almost did our best month. It was like almost touching the same, which is weird.
Great. That's fantastic. That's really
Crazy.
good. Yeah, there's no rhyme or reason, is there? And maybe sometimes growth is a bit sort of staggered and not linear.
Mm.
Um, but yeah, it's good. Good to hear. Um, so I do have a couple of things to share real quickly for interest. We had our outbound salesperson, Jasmine, who works in Sydney, flew up for the last couple of days and just going through like the annual strategy, particularly for universities. And that was pretty intense. She got down and dirty with the presses and was learning all that sort of stuff for fun and worked with Martini for a bit. And then she and I just brainstormed this big strategy. So that was good. I felt like it's good to be kind of a little bit more coordinated about that and not just leave her to it. It can be
Mm.
very kind of lonely out there when you're trying to present and get samples and that kind of thing. So that was good. It kind of connected her to the sales team as well. And we've launched a couple of affiliate sites with Deco Network for customers just to reorder their own stock, which is kind of exciting. Um, uh, but yeah, there's so many variables in that system. I'm
Mm.
not sure I've got it set up the best way. but I'll slowly tinker with it and get it running. But one of the things I realized about that is, if you have a customer that comes on and they order, I don't know, let's say relaxed hoodies and staples every time, and they've
Mhm.
got, 5 designs. When you put it in Deco Network, you can stick in any garments you want, right? So you can put in, you know, Barnards or, whatever,
Oh,
literally.
yep. Oh, and then they can just,
They can just choose whatever they want.
if they
So
want,
I'm
a
hoping there'll
little.
be a bit more kind of, oh, we might have a few hats and, a couple more of those or whatever.
Hmm.
So I'm quite excited about that. How's your affiliate program going? You've got that been running it for a while, haven't you?
Yeah, we sort of have two versions. We have the one that we use for like merch stores. We've been using that for a good year or so. Um, and then we were doing uniform portals a little bit separately in a different software
Oh, wow.
because we wanted to give our customers the option to have allocations per staff member, but you can't do that through Deco. So we're doing that, but it's a big pain in the ass to have two softwares,
Yeah.
and we'd receive we got the same product in both systems. So would set up a whole portal using this other software, receive the order, and then enter it into Deco
Okay.
for the main production. Um, Makes the customer's side super easy, but our side's not so easy. So, but we found like people really liked the option that they could do allocations, but no one uses it. They're like, "Oh, that's so cool. We might to start with just I'll order for this person, and then we'll do that down the track." No one's ever used it, and so now we're gonna migrate everyone over into Deco and use it. Like, just not give people, not say that they can do that, I guess.
Yeah.
And it'll just be a portal for them to order stuff. And I think we can still do it in a way that someone gets to approve the order before it goes through to our system um,
Okay.
for production. So we're still working on that at the moment because we've got a big uniform um, like order coming up for one of our larger clients in the next month or so. So we're trying to figure out the easiest way to do that because it's everything from warehouse staff to corporate and promo and everything else, and it's
Oh,
shipped all around Australia. So um, I think we're going to try and have Deco set up for that in time to make it a bit easier for
yeah.
us.
Sounds good. Um, I think we say it every time, Deca Network. It's a little bit clunky at the back end, I think, but
Mm,
it's pretty sophisticated. With what you can do at the front end. And as you know, we're looking at this outsourcing thing as well and seeing
mhm.
how that
It's
works.
a bit of a love hate relationship. We couldn't have scaled to where we are now without it, but it pisses me off sometimes. So
Yeah. So we're still using Monday. So in a way, we have similar problem to you in that all our big orders come through, normal ministry shirts channel using Zero and Monday and all that. Um, and all of the Deco Network ones obviously end up in Deco Network, but they have to be put into Monday so they can get ordered as part of the big ordering.
mm,
Um, and I can see over time we're gradually going to end up sliding into Deco Network, but we lose a whole load of the business process steps that we use in Monday, and you kind of get used to those. And
mm,
I mean, there's a lot more granularity about how those processes work than there is in Deco Network, and
mhm,
that I think will be a problem for us. But yeah, it's finding its way. We're getting more sales. We've not advertised um, our Deco Network site, but
mhm.
it's getting traction from somewhere. I don't know
Yeah, awesome.
where it's how it's happening. Um, and we are about to engage the next week with a social media expert that's going to look at the return of investment model because we're spending thousands a month on advertising, and
Mhm,
it's very hard to really drill down and say, no, that's a recurring customer. No, that's
Oh
a new
yeah.
customer that's come from that advert, or from Google Ads or whatever. We don't use Google Ads, but just to have that info, I think is going to be useful. And our ads are very boring. Picture of a person in a t-shirt with a price on the shirt. I mean, it does what it says on the tin, so to speak, but it's not exactly
Yeah.
very dynamic.
Do
So
you run the ads at the moment?
right now,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
like, yep. And
yeah,
this person run them for you,
yeah. I
kind of,
think
or
they take
just
control of all of that.
okay.
Maybe not the creation of the content, but they'll
Mm,
direct us about what they think's better and worse.
okay.
Um, but I don't know enough about what they'll do just yet. So we're going to have our first call this week, and then next week hopefully we'll implement something. But yeah, I'll give it a go. Suck it and see. If it works, it works. If it doesn't,
Yeah,
wasted a couple of K or whatever, and it's no
yeah.
big deal. We can manage. Um, yeah, so I'm kind of excited about that. I'm getting tired. I will say this, I'm getting tired, like physically tired, mentally tired, but just sort of a little bit weary from well working, I suppose. Sounds pathetic. But do you know what I mean? After a while, it's like, oh yeah, open up, close up, turn that off, turn that on. Every
Yep.
day you kickstart. I think that the team have been quite tired as well. It's been so busy, but
Yeah.
they're doing well. They're doing really well. But yeah, how's your team going?
Good.
Oh God, you asked a bad question.
No, I'm, I don't think any of them listen to this.
Oh well, just yeah, it's undo, man. It's okay.
No, for the most part, it's great. We're punching stuff out. We're looking for another salesperson to join the team.
Great.
Um, I feel like we're the kind of market we're in. Um, is a lot of like front end work because our orders they're I guess higher value but smaller. Um, so yeah, it's just a lot of work, and we get a lot of return customers, but it's just a lot going on. And then to still look after some of these bigger ones, or even to have the opportunity to work on expanding our customer base rather than just servicing the existing ones.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, but we're looking to try and almost buy some experience. So looking for someone with experience from the industry already,
great.
um, and yeah, see if we can find anyone like that. So
And will they do outbound stuff or just catch more of the incoming stuff?
probably both. We I'm really big on like really looking after like our existing um, clients, and because we do so many uniforms, I want to like have a more standard like every 3 months we're touching base with them, giving them a call or whatever,
Hmm,
because they're placing orders every like maybe 6 months or so. Um, but then also doing a bit of outbound, and if they've got some experience with the way I've sort of worded the ad is for people who have experience with larger clients as well. So see if we can get some of those bigger clients with them.
great.
So
Awesome. That is really exciting, man. Really
we'll
exciting.
see.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
put our first Seek ad up this week, so pretty expensive. I had
Yeah.
no idea, but it seems kind of like it's doing its job so far. So we'll see.
Yeah. You get a massive amount of hits
Hmm.
and you can quite quickly sort of distill them down to a good number and then work out who you're going to interview.
Mm,
Yeah. Yeah. That's really cool, man. Awesome.
yeah, is our guest here?
Our
Or
guests, plural, are here. I've actually got some blurb. Bless them. They've given me something, so I'm going to announce it. So this is Lisa Diebold and Emma Pullin, and their business is called Soft Power. I think they're just south of Wollongong. One of them might be in Melbourne, actually. And it was after a decade of working in the industry for other companies, they created their own studio in 2023, Soft Power, a name that comes from the tender strength held by female identifying people, a calm care, a collaboration, a problem solving project where no idea is silly. They wouldn't say that if they worked here, but that sounds brilliant. We started Soft Power to carve out a space that is safe and fun for ourselves, our team, and our clients to explore ideas and flourish in a male dominated field. I mean, they're so right. It's very hard to even get on the show to, enough ladies, to be frank.
Mm-hmm.
A male dominated field. Um, yeah, all the while producing high quality prints, high quality garments that we hope circulate op shops for decades to come. And that would be funny, seeing one of your own garments in a op shop. All right, let's get them in.
Hey.
Hey,
What's up?
hey, hey.
Hey.
How you going?
Good. Nice to meet you guys.
Likewise.
Likewise.
Yeah. Just before we get going, Lisa, are you in Melbourne? Is that right?
Not me, Emma.
Oh, sorry. You're in Melbourne. And Lisa, you're just south of Wollongong?
Yeah, that's right. In Wollongong, yep.
Yeah, great. Thanks for joining us today. I've just done a big intro for you.
Oh, thanks for having us. Stoked.
Yeah, welcome to the show. Okay, let's kick off. Tell us who you are, where you're from, what you're about. Tell us all about Soft Power, because you've been in the industry a while, I think. But Soft Power's 2 or 3 years old. Is that right?
Emma, you go. We're gonna try and give each other cues on who's talking first.
Yeah, that's the hard thing.
Yeah, we should take a lesson on that.
Yeah, so we basically have both been in the industry in some shape or form for, I don't know, maybe 10 years combined or something like that. We've worked for other people and done our own thing. And we came together when we were working for another business, and that's where we met and sort of forged our relationship and a love of screen printing and the clients and stuff. And we bought all that equipment off that previous owner.
Oh, wow.
And that's what we've been doing. So I think we've been for, correct me if I'm wrong, Lise, but like 3 to 4 years now in Soft Power.
Well, this is our fourth year, yeah. And I think you might have been, so the old business was called Crack and Creative, no secret, I guess. But yeah, I think we were with him. I was with him for about 5 years, and Emma, you were there a bit longer than I was.
Yeah, just a bit longer, yeah.
And were you both screen printing at that shop?
Emma.
Yeah. Lisa was basically doing design, and then she started doing a bit of screen printing when I was there. And I remember just like one day just being like, okay, this is a multicolored print. You got this, and just left.
Oh, wow. Let's see you later.
And she did it. She did it amazing. And like, yeah.
And so Kraken, the owners just decided to fold or finish, or
he's now doing he does a lot of sign writing, and murals is his main thing now. So he was doing murals and screen printing back in the day, and then I think
I think I remember saying okay.
He's like a
very vaguely in the
in the ether.
Corner of my yeah. Okay, I remember seeing that his stuff.
He had very like tattoo style graphics, very traditional tattoos. I don't know. Yeah, that's kind of his style.
Yeah, awesome. But he kind of did. I think he wanted just a life change. Him and his family moved to a different part of the country, and
he's got two.
We were we're lucky enough to pick up where he left off, kind of thing. So,
did you guys like buy the business basically, or just the equipment?
We did buy the business, but we didn't buy the name. So it was a bit like, I guess you kind of just took over the lease, took over all the equipment, and we obviously had like all the, what's it called? Like all the contacts.
Yeah.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, so it worked in our favor because we were kind of already thinking about starting our own thing, but we didn't really know how to start. And like, we don't come from money. Like, we didn't really have anything to put in. So this opportunity was nice because we knew him and we already had a good relationship. So sort of sorted it out. But yeah, it was still hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What would you say was the hardest part of that process?
Of buying and starting?
Yeah, and starting.
Oh, probably changing the name. Like we never could have kept the name anyway because he was still operating under his own name. But yeah, we essentially started from scratch. Like we could have just probably gone out alone and just bought equipment and done the same thing potentially. But yeah, it was a huge learning curve to just try and get that traction to get our name known and get clients to understand that the name changed. Like, we're the same people. We've always been printing your stuff, you know? Like,
yeah.
Did you feel some of them were like, oh, who are these people? Where's Kraken? Maybe I should go somewhere else? Or was it hard to kind of keep them with yourself, to retain them?
Some of them we had like a personal relationship with, and like they met us physically multiple times, and you know, it's fine. I think it's mostly just the people that are online, and they would just be sus on us being like, hey, like obviously there's probably like lots of scams around, and we're just like, hey, we're the same people, like
Yeah, right.
I swear.
yeah, they just don't know who to trust. So yeah, it was a fun thing starting from scratch. Yeah.
And do you feel like that brand, and I want to come on to the brand because it's very special and important, I think, as well in the market. But do you feel like that brand's getting established? People really beginning to know it and understand it and appreciate it?
Yeah. What do you think, Emma?
I think it's getting a bit more established. Yeah, it's hard to tell when you're in it. I think you would probably understand, but I think it is. Like, I think a lot of people in the community, whether they've actually printed with us or not, they know of us, and they know that like we have, you know, purely women working for us, and that there's a bit unique there. So whether they've actually printed with us, there's kind of a bit of a buzz around town. What do you reckon, Lise?
Yeah, I think so. Like, at least in the very small community. I mean, like, Wollongong's a small place, so it's not like being in the middle of Sydney or the middle of Melbourne, right? The community is a lot smaller, so word travels around quicker. So yeah, I think that it didn't take long for our name to get out there, but I think only this year we're sort of realizing that maybe we think that we're known, but we're not actually known. Right. So yeah, I guess we got to a place where we were a bit content with our reach, but now we're realizing we probably need to keep on pushing it. And even if you feel like people know you, you got to keep pushing it. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. So let's talk about the brand. I gave it the spiel, but let's hear it directly from yourselves. I was going to call you Soft Cell. That reminds me of a band way back. Soft Power. It has a really important story. Tell us about it.
Yeah, Emma.
Basically, it just comes from the strength and power that women hold, and the tenderness and care, like, and how those two things can really coexist. And I think working in the industry, really noticing that the care that other like female or female identifying people would take, like, it's just like there was more of a care to detail. There was more of a like noticing of things, especially when we were training young men staff in comparison to young female staff. It's just like this real like switched on care, and like to our detriment too. Like, I think sometimes when we were working for other people, would be like stressing over things that, like, you know, not in our pay grade. You know, just like the amount of care that we had. But yeah, I think it comes from just like the strength in our power and how smart, and obviously it is a male dominated field, and how we really stand out and rise to the occasion.
Because yeah, I'll add to that in that, like, because I was a designer first, and Emma taught me how to screen print, and I had already had dreams of being a screen printer before I met her or started working for Kraken. but I just had no idea how to get into the industry. I think I popped into a couple of screen printers in the area to try and like make contact, and it's not always the most friendly or welcoming environment. Maybe with the old school people that are just trying to get the job done, like you don't really have time to be talking to this young girl who's like, oh, I want to come and screen print for you, like there's not a lot of time for that. So even though I had those dreams, I didn't really know how to get into the industry. And then starting to work at Kraken and being like, oh my God, this girl is the main screen printer. This is amazing. Maybe I can learn, was just like amazing. I couldn't believe my luck. And then because I was doing design work, we then hit COVID. And so the design work dried up. And then I asked our boss, Sean, like, can I just learn to print? Because printing got really popular. And then he was like, yeah, I guess. Emma, can you be bothered teaching? And she was just like, yeah, come on. Like, so that's how that happened. And yeah, it was just great. It was awesome.
It is, we'll come back to the male-dominated thing in a moment, but I long for someone to walk into our print shop and say, hey, show me all about this. This is so cool. Wow, how does that work? Never happens. I think we had one person once and they got super excited. But I enjoy, like all of us, I think, to kind of just share things and teach people and learn things from them as well, of course. But yeah, the industry is a little bit split. You find those.
Yeah, I don't know what it was that scared me off. I think that I thought that it required a lot of strength, and I'm like quite a small person with not a lot of muscles. And like even seeing Emma printing, I think at the time they were using like really quite old permaset white that was so thick, like probably the equivalent of plastisol. I don't know. I've never printed with plastisol, but like the amount of force she was putting on these screens to like get the ink through, I was like, I don't know if I actually can do this. So I think that like with screen printing specifically, there is a strength thing that has been just mildly on the minds of people, in that it's like not suitable for women due to like strength.
Okay. Yeah.
Not true.
I think it's, there's a lot of technique in screen printing. And by the way, for what it's worth, Plastisol's a lot easier to print with.
Right.
A lot easier. It's much easier.
Know that.
Yeah. But, they're different inks, so different sort of effects. But, my view is it's a lot about technique, but it's about resilience and endurance. You know what I mean? You're repeating, but you just got to keep going, keep that rhythm going. And if you can, in my view, if you can learn that, you can do it, right? It doesn't matter who you are. Yeah.
I think that's a huge part of, I think we maybe put it in our bio, but like the problem solving part and the fact, I guess when I was kind of sort of managing for Kraken and working with Lisa, and just like we would work through problems, like obviously you guys would know, it's like you're working through those problems daily, hourly, all the time. And you can't just kind of have a tantrum and walk off, which had definitely been around lots of people who would be like that in the past. And so it's nice to just like have that support and really work through things together in a very calm and safe way.
Yeah. Well, that's important. You don't want someone throwing a squeegee at you or something.
Yeah.
Now, interestingly, talking about this gender thing, just thinking, Josh, all of your employees are ladies, aren't they?
Yep. Girl power. Yeah.
We have
they're great. I think for what we do, like it's all pretty fiddly work, and they've got really good attention to detail. I didn't set out with that in mind. I guess they've just always been the best candidates. So, but yeah, it's heaps of fun. Everyone gets everyone gets up me saying like, why do I? They're like, it's getting a bit sus, Josh. Like, show me I have bloke now. I was like, they're just the best.
They're not the interviews, just
exactly.
No, I don't know. It's like it's a funny little window, I guess. It's probably not even gender. It's just people that like have the ability to persevere with something so fiddly
Yeah.
for the satisfaction of just making this thing that's like a pile of t-shirts that are perfect. You know, I don't know. It takes a certain kind of person. I don't know.
There's a kind of problem-solving aspect to screen printing, like from cradle to grave, right? From artwork to a t-shirt going out the door. And I love it. I love that there are lots of variables that you're constantly trying to hone and get right to get that perfect print. And then occasionally go, oh, let's just get it done, you know. Don't worry.
Yeah.
That blue isn't quite the right color or whatever. I shouldn't say that. Our environment's interesting, just reflecting on listening to you guys. We've got 5 guys here and 2 ladies, and we have another lady that does outbound sales in Sydney. And I need to turn that thing off. Sorry. And so both our salespeople are ladies here, and they're fantastic. They've got a different, I mean, it's sexist saying all this stuff, but I'm going to say it. They have a different way of interacting with customers. I don't have the patience for it. I'm a bit sort of, needing to get on with stuff. And they have that kind of patience. They know how markets work. They interact with the customers really well. The other lady here is my daughter, and she part owns the business with me. Although if I asked her that, she'd say that she owns it and I don't, which may well be the way. And she runs the whole of production. So the 5 blokes report to her. And if I could tell you the number of times she'd come into my office a day and roll her eyes and say, they're driving me mad. This person won't do that, and that person won't do that. And they forget to do this, often. I mean, it's terrible to comment on all these things because it is about the best person for the job. But we have had the other balance at times where we've had more ladies here than blokes. And, it just currently is the other way around. But she, I wave the flag for my daughter, obviously. But she is just fantastic. She just runs the whole of production. And and she suffers from social anxiety. So, it's hard for her to manage people, but she does it really well.
That's so cool.
And how do you guys work together? Like, do you have a good working relationship? Or I imagine that would be hard sometimes. For
me or for Josh? Sorry.
No, for you and your daughter. How do you go working together?
Oh, sorry. Yeah. 90% of the time, it's good. It used to be much harder when I was involved in production. I used to be the screen printer, and she would do all the ink. She'd register and she'd load and catch. And we just had a 8-color carousel back then, and running out of our garage. And it used to be super stressful then, because we're on a really big kind of growth spurt back then. And there were plenty of, I don't like working with you. This is a stupid idea. And, that was just me, so it was hard. Now and again, we'll have a bit of a meltdown. I'll make a decision that perhaps wasn't well considered, or, affects what they're doing in production too much without me thinking about it. And she'll come in and tell me what's what, quite rightly. But yeah, it works. But yeah, she I think she likes it. Like, if she was sitting here, she'd say, not often, but yeah, no, I think it's good. I'm very proud of her. One of the daughters. So, but yeah, there are certain members of my family. I'm quite certain they won't be listening to this, but I wouldn't want to work with them.
I'm gonna say, neither of us could imagine doing this with our fathers. So hats off, really.
We're getting there. So excellent brand. Obviously, coming back to this thing of getting that brand out there, getting that story out there. There's something in that. Again, it's kind of sexist comment, but perhaps it is true, right? That this specifically attention to detail. So yes, you know how to screen print. So that's not an issue. Yes, you know how to resiliently endure and, get out high volumes and so on. But what you're adding to this, you're also saying is different to the average, toe to head tatted, love screen printing. Nothing wrong with those people, of course. but perhaps their attention to detail is different, or maybe they're a bit too nuanced in what they really like in screen printing. I found that with some screen printers, they just like doing simulated process, for example, or they like working with this kind of ink only. But you've got this story around, I don't know how to say it without.
I think it's more like because of what we do, and like we have a certain aesthetic which has come from like the graphics that we have done. We've then been able to attract a lot more other female businesses, but not only that, also like, you know, there's a lot of tradies out there with their wives are sorting out all the merch. They'll see us and they'll be like, oh, amazing. So instead of having to go into that, not, you know, I'm not saying that all screen printers are intimidating, but that your average, very busy, very overstimulating, lots of tattoos screen printer, and trying to be like, I just want to make something nice, and like I like this kind of pink. Like it really, I think it's quite hard for women to do that and not feel totally overwhelmed and not very welcome. So I think that's kind of more the thing that we were pushing, is that we wanted to invite those kinds of people in, and give off this aura of not being intimidating, and like we're not gonna think that you're silly, we're not gonna think that you're annoying. Like just come in and tell us what you want, and we'll make it for you. So I think that's more the thing. And like, you know, we love a chat, and we're nice, and we're not going to like double charge you and lie about it, or like, I don't know. We're just trying to be nice people doing what we like to do, and hopefully attract the same kind of people.
And less intimidating, right?
Yes, exactly.
There are print shops I wouldn't like to walk into in this country. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it is funny, like watching a client come in for the first time maybe, or even like a delivery person or whatever, and like they're kind of talking to one of us, and then they kind of like suddenly start looking around and they start realizing like,
where's the gorilla with the tattoos? Yeah. That's brilliant.
Yeah.
So Chamber of Commerce these days has a lot of women in business focus as well, and there's often, you know, throughout the country, well, globally, there's a lot of interest around that. Is that something you've explored in terms of connecting with local businesses?
Not in such an official way. I guess we do, like we work with a lot of other female own and run businesses, and we tend to attract a lot of that. But I guess so far we've just been making it up as we go along and trying to get ahead.
Yeah, probably the only thing is just last week or 2 weeks ago, AS Colour put on like a Women's Day lunch, and so we got to have lunch with all of the ladies in the print world from all over Australia, which was sick.
Which is great. And a lot of who, like, you've probably interviewed someone that they work with. I know Halo was on there. You guys have interviewed them.
Angel.
A few others. Yeah.
Yeah. So Megan, and we met Pamela from T1, and yeah, I don't know, all the big names in the print world, the female sort of side of things. So that was cool. But yeah, we felt totally out of our depth going to that, because like, thanks for inviting us. But yeah, the industry in Sydney is, well, like, even, the industry that you're usually talking about on your pod, it's a lot bigger than what we are, where we are quite small scale so far. But yeah, we don't really know if we want to scale up too much. So that's something that I'd like to chat to you guys about. But
no, that's it's a really important question there. Maybe it's less stressful perhaps to not have such a bigger shop, or, you know, be completely rushed off your feet and not able to kind of make it work all the time. I think that's valuable. Okay. Well, who is it? Josh, we had them on the podcast. I can't remember who they are. They used to be PSI. What are they called now?
Oh, Jody from Dark Label.
Dark Label.
Yeah.
They've won awards. They're female-led team. I mean, there's blokes there as well. I forget the awards, but they've won a number of awards directed specifically for women in business and in the industry, and even I think internationally. You know, it's just amazing. It's really good.
Yeah, it's like one of those things. It's the same as like applying for government grants, right? If you have the time and the resources to actually contact these awards and apply for grants, you'll probably get them. But so far, we really haven't had the time to like look into it yet. But of course, I mean, it was kind of always our plan to try and make the most of that point of difference that we have. Like, you might as well use it for your advantage, right? But we so far haven't really done much with it in that sort of sense. But it's definitely a plan.
Yeah. You got time to do that, and
yes.
those. We're trying to expand into a neighbouring town up here. We don't tend to do much locally where we are. We love it when we get a local customer. We go, oh, great, you know. And they will say, oh, I didn't know you were here.
Yeah.
So we're trying to expand into a town just down the road and trying to connect to the chamber there and work out how that networking runs. But I think it's quite hard to do that. It's easier in a way to do it online than it is at a terrestrial kind of level.
Totally. Like, how much time would you have you spent in both of your respective careers as running your own businesses? Like, have you put a lot of time into that community, like actual face-to-face community stuff? We always have wondered that.
How about you, Josh? What do you think on that?
We started with just shipping and stuff because we were working out of home, and before that I was doing it on the side. So that was our main client base until probably like a year and a half ago, maybe. We started pushing, or maybe a little bit longer than that. We started pushing the local market a little bit more. And that's probably where we've seen most of our growth. But I think it's kind of just a snowball effect. Like, it's a little bit slow to start, but the more and it's all just word of mouth. Everyone says that, I guess, but just posting stories with everyone's stuff, like that business will share it, and then all their followers will see it, and they just see it from enough people that they're like, oh, I need some shirts. Maybe I'll go to this guy. So but it is really hard to do. We're involved with our local chamber of commerce, and they've got some really good younger programs and stuff as well, which I found is the hard thing. In our market, there's a lot of old relationships between businesses, they've got the uniforms or merch, whatever, from here forever, just because that's where we've always done it. And going to those events is also really daunting, especially when you're smaller too, because you feel like you don't belong there. You're like, oh, I just print t-shirts. But it's so much more than that. But people are like, oh yeah. But I guess it's just the more you go to it, the more people you meet, and the easier it gets, maybe.
Okay.
But yeah, I think it is important. I'd like to do more of it, but it is a lot of time as well.
Yeah.
You do your golf promo stuff as well, don't you? That's local.
Yeah, we do a few golf days and stuff. They're always heaps of fun.
It's a good idea.
That's actually, it's we didn't realize that's probably the best return on sort of event type things we've done. They do surprisingly well. Everyone's like, oh yeah. So everyone's had a
polo.
Stay tuned for our golf next week.
Yeah, exactly. Everyone's had a few beers. Here's my email. We want to get some stuff. We'll come see you. So
noted.
But it is all time. It's a hard balance to do. To do both. What about you, Sam?
We don't engage too much locally. It's kind of hard to work out how to. And this is sort of a damning indictment on Armidale, but we wouldn't be members of the Armidale Chamber because it's very kind of, well, I'm going to be blunt here, but it's very parochial, and everybody knows everyone in this town. But we will in other bigger towns. So we won't even bank here. We won't have accountants here. We put them in a bigger city. They have different attitudes to business. But it's kind of hard to find ways of doing it. We've thought a couple of times of having like open days, or bring your t-shirt, we'll print it type things, or bring your t-shirt and you can print it, and set up the manual or whatever, and do that. The one thing we have done are live screen printing events in town for various things. There's a couple of there's a big festival in winter here called the Big Chill, and they have. I'm not really up with the modern bands, being so old, but apparently they're headliner bands. They're quite successful.
Yeah.
They draw sort of 5,000-6,000, that kind of crowd. And the actual success of live screen printing was utterly diabolical. It couldn't have been worse. Nobody really wanted any t-shirts printed. But anyway, we just printed them and gave them away. And business cards just went out. And we did get quite a bit of business back from that locally. And that we've done that a couple of times. And that was good fun. And we now print all the shirts for the festival. But yeah, I can't think. I mean, the golf thing sounded like a really good idea. Maybe I can look into that. But it's hard to know exactly how to connect with people here. But I think it's important. I mean, I think it's important anyway, because you're a business. You have a location, you're a physical location. You employ people. You work with people in the community, and it's important to be able to connect to them in one way or another.
Especially when a lot of these kind of businesses are just like going online to Alibaba and getting some absolute rubbish from China. Like, when people realize that you're actually running in a local space and you're actually doing these things, I think it blows their minds really when they realize that. I think people just think that it just comes from China, like, magic.
Having that personal connection with everyone too, I find like that's something we really focus on, because it's hard to like go somewhere else if your mate's with someone. Like it's like they're cheating on you if they're going somewhere else. Like, oh, yeah. So I think
into long-lasting clients. So
if you can build those good relationships, everyone's like, oh yeah, we use them because they're good people, like you say.
Totally.
Like, just you look after people and they come back.
I was just listening to another episode of the pod, and you guys were talking about like putting in extra garments into people's orders. I was like, we've actually done that, but I think we're going to take that one on board. A couple of days.
When you think about it, I mean, sure, you experience it. When your customer comes to pick up a garment, you show them the garments, and they go, "Wow!" Right? It's always a surprise. It's their artwork. They've been in this mangle of how do I make this work, and I don't understand this, and what do you mean a second print, and what do you mean multiple colors, and the rest of it. And there's a sense in which I always think there's this blind hope thing that goes on with the customer. You've got them to a particular point, they hand over this money, and they're just like, I hope it's going to be okay. Maybe partly because of the experience of ordering overseas.
Totally.
And they come in and they open that box, and they've been communicating and connecting with you all that time. But when they see the product, it's magic, and we derive a lot of kind of satisfaction from seeing that. And I think that if your customer is in Perth, a long way away, you don't get that joy. And so, but that when they open it, that's the first real connection they have with our product. And it's their product now. And I think making that as exciting as it can be is really important. And that free t-shirts, an aspect to that. It's also a marketing thing. Oh,
Yes.
maybe they'll come back to Ministry of Shirts because they got a free one. We have people phone up. Oh, there's a free garment. There's been a mistake. Did you need us to pay for it? It's free, like it's okay. And we use tissue paper and leaflets and Northprint throw in all sorts of free gifts, if I'm not mistaken.
Mentos and bits and pieces.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And,
What's your favorite?
The pink fruity one. It's the best.
But
We fight over them.
that experience is so important. They are shopping, and they're shopping for, usually, unless it's for clothing brand. Well, even in that case, they're kind of shopping for someone else, and they want them to be happy. And so I feel like making them as happy as you can, because you'll never interact with those people personally because they're so far away.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
We have a WhatsApp group here for the team called Shop Talk, and people chuck in all sorts of things. But whenever we get another review, we just screenshot it and put it in there, because the team doing the printing don't engage with the customer. It's only the front of house that does that, and it sort of connects them with the team a bit. We used to have cameras on the Anatole press, and I forget the software now, but we used to do live feeds of their job being printed, and then send them the link and record it as well. And that was really cool. Customers just loved that because they could connect with what's going on in the print warehouse rather than just us people at the front of shop, so to speak. And it just became a real hassle to kind of manage. If you weren't careful, by the time you got it set up, it was someone else's print job. Oh my goodness,
Say half the time ours would just be an empty, like cameras on the wrong press, and like,
Well, you're setting up.
Yeah.
It's like hands.
Finding some way for the customer to connect with the innards of the business, I think is good if you can. Because that's the story.
Yeah. We try and take footage most of the time to post as stories, and we'll tag our customers if they like. We get their permission first, and usually they're pretty stoked. Sometimes we're just like, this is the most rubbish footage, I'm sorry, and they're like, oh my gosh.
Yeah,
so,
you're in
fun.
good company. If you I was just saying to Josh before we got going, I hate it. Like, we used to have someone that did it here, but the guys would go, oh, we're doing another surfboard group or whatever, board rider club. And I'd go out of my phone and it'd be the same, here's the underbase, here's the flash. I just hate it, but they still get a kick out of it. But yeah, we actually had a little look at your Insta page or Insta feed a little bit earlier. It's really schmick.
It's clean.
Oh,
Yeah.
thank you. That's good.
Super clean.
The amount of times we've painted the floors of that studio to make the videos far out.
She's literally out there with like a little toothbrush, like
a bit of glue that's sprayed past the palette.
But then like those studios that are always using like brand new screens, like all of our screens are so battered and like clogged with just like the frames. I mean, like they're so covered in old ink. I'm just like, how do people keep these clean? I don't know.
Just get them remeshed. Do you remesh?
Yeah, but like after 10 years, the actual frames are so battered, but the mesh is nice. Yeah, there's a lot of Instagram people that have got such brand new equipment. I just can't compete.
So shiny.
Best, yeah.
But at the same time, my view is, don't worry about that.
No.
Be who you are, right? And people will love you for that, and that's it's authentic. It goes back to your brand in a way.
That's right. Yeah.
But you mentioned, Emma, that when customers come in and they kind of engage with you and they kind of look around the shop and realize that there aren't a bunch of tattooed gorillas around, they kind of go, oh, this is really nice. And I guess just trying to let your online community connect with that.
Yeah.
They want to see people at the end. They want to see the garments and the process, but they really want the people, because that's how we engage ultimately, right?
I think that that's been something that we maybe have been a bit reluctant about, is like getting our goofy faces on the camera and like doing talk to camera videos and like explaining things. But I think we're slowly learning that it's like, that's what people really want to see. And like you say, like it tells that story that is kind of like, it's what they're sort of buying. They're buying a story.
Yeah.
They're buying the history of like the trade and everything like that. But I think that that's something that we're going to lean into a bit more this year.
Yeah.
We're slowly trying. That's why we're
Well,
here
you mentioned
today.
Halo. You mentioned Halo earlier on, and they're. I mean, I'm not sure how long they've been doing Insta for, but their videos are just so funny. Like, they're a competitor to us all. But if they come up on the feed, I'm like, oh, gotta watch this, because it's just such a laugh. And good on them, right? They don't care. Like this is our brand. Take it or leave it. And I feel like we should all be a bit more like that. I find it impossible to do, a video where I'm talking or whatever, but I've been told, got to do it, got to do it. I've got a long list of them, but I've never got round to doing any of them. Okay.
It's another thing, like part of our insecurities about that. And obviously things are changing and there are a lot more real people doing those kind of talking to video, reels and stuff like that nowadays. But I remember when we first started, I was so worried because I looked so young. And like this was something that happened even when we were with Kraken. Like people would walk in and not really trust me because they think I'm like some young little girl that has no experience or something like that. So it's hard to be taken seriously in an industry that requires so much skill. So I think that like automatically we sort of have a little bit of reluctance to do the face to camera, even though it's, as soon as you start talking and explaining something, someone's going to know that you know what you're talking about and that you're a professional. But it's also like mixed with, you have to be funny and you have to be silly and you have to be like, there's so many things you have to be on social media. I find it really hard to just, I don't know.
Oh my God. Actually, I don't know if you guys have seen, but on our website, there's like a biopic. I think it's still there. And it's just like us standing next to each other. And I have just got paint all over me. And it's like doing like talk to camera or like trying to make something look pretty. It's just like, I'm covered in paint. Like, and that was the best photo that we had, and that's like the reality of screen printing is like, I think, and we should show that.
Yes, absolutely.
You got to show the reality of the industry.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's hard.
Josh, you do some outstanding. You checking it out.
Oh, yeah. Looks like a banging feed.
You do some outstanding videos that are always a bit of a laugh as well, aren't they?
Yeah, I don't like it either, but and like I cringe a little bit because I'm like I feel like really dumb sometimes, but I think about some of the content that I've seen online. I'm like, I can't remember that. Like people only saying that for like 10 seconds and then they're scrolling. Like they're not remembering it, and then they'll just see it next time. But they watch it and they learn a little bit maybe. But we have some fun with it. We don't take it too seriously, and I think that's probably the way to do it. But that's another thing. It just takes practice.
Yeah. Emma's going to be coming back to Wollongong in April, so we'll be
prepared.
Yeah. How does that work for you guys? Like, or you only there temporarily, Emma, or?
Yeah, so I've been here for the last year and a bit, and I've just purely been on all the admin and ordering and anything computer related, including like doing books and stuff like that, which I guess we had no idea when I was going to do this, like if it would work or not, but I have ADHD and I'm like, when I'm working alone, I'm so much more focused. And so I think that in the last year, we've actually seen so much benefit because I've just been chasing invoices the whole time and not without interruption. So it kind of strangely has worked, but I am looking forward to like coming back and working with the girls and being able to muck around.
Yeah. You don't have to come in every day. I reckon we'll do a mix. But yeah, it's been so good. It's like before Emma left to Melbourne, there's three of us. So we have one casual worker, Olivia, who's only on printing. But Emma and I would just be literally doing every single job that there is. So we're both doing pre-press and we're both doing admin and we're both answering the phone and we're both doing the ordering. Like we just had this, I don't know, chaotic flow that we just would do everything together. And it worked for a bit, but yeah, once Emma left and had her space to just be on admin, and then I started printing again, it did sort of make things a lot more clear. But yeah, we're, like I said, we're so small. Like you guys, you guys talk to people that are doing huge runs. Like our average printing run is probably like 40 or 50. I think our largest order ever has been 700. So yeah, I don't know. We've just been running just on screen printing for 3 years at a very small scale, and it's somehow worked. But whether it will work forever, we're not really sure.
There's no reason why it shouldn't. I mean, you do have a lot of competition in Sydney. You know, I don't know how many other screen printers there might be in Wollongong.
There's a couple. There's a place called Journeys. But again, it's hard to know whether these people are actually screen printing or not. I think a lot of people say that they are, but they're actually all digital. I know that T-shirt Workshop is another one that they do have a press, but I don't know how much actual printing that they're doing. So there is a little bit of competition. We definitely don't get any orders from Sydney. Like that whole area is just outside of our sort of. Well, I don't know. Do we get any orders from Sydney, Emma? Maybe a couple.
I don't know. I think it's mainly like it's local and then it's like really far out. Like
or
Queensland or Tassie or random places. But yeah, I mean the little Marrickville little pocket of screen printing is so strong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there's all the South Coast and everything like that. So I think this year we're gonna like focus on those places. But yeah, it is random. Like when we do our research and we're like, okay, who's actually printing in Wollongong? And we look around and there is a lot. Like there's a lot of really small and there's like a place that I used to work and there kind of is. But yeah, like Lisa said, like I think a lot of them potentially are now mostly digital, direct to garment, all these kinds of things, and not really doing screen printing, but the website will still say that they are.
Yeah, right. That's not good. That's not good.
Yeah, I mean, maybe they have a small setup that's out the back or something, but not super duper used. Like because we have clients who'll come in and show us something that they think is screen printing, and it's digital.
Yeah.
Or DTF. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is annoying because a lot of people. I mean, people still, the average person doesn't really know the difference, right? So, you know, you get a lot of people just being like, oh, well, the uniform shop quoted us this. And it's like, yes, that's very different, but you can go to them if you want.
Yeah, so, it's a vinyl, what we're doing.
Oh, right, okay.
You know?
Yeah.
And it's difficult because modern, well, I say modern, it's all modern, but the new DTF that's coming out now, the proper water-based inks, not the original ones. They're so close to a good water-based screen print, you could fool a screen printer. The question is, do they fade? And, you know, what's the longevity? When do they start cracking? You know, are they good for a heavy tee as well as a polyester garment? You know, how does all of that work? But yeah, it's important, I think, to tell your customers. I mean, certain types of customers, a lot of our customers wouldn't care because we do a lot of kids camps and they just want, give me color. I haven't got any money, right? So for them, finding a way to make that, you know, really productive and good value and a really good print as well. We work really hard. We do screen printing here, but we also have a DTF element. And we work really hard to get the Pantones bang on with DTF, making that kind of thing work. So, but yeah, if you're not doing screen printing, you need to say, you know what I mean? Like it's really not right. But it is difficult. But just one quick thing before I forget. Your brand, I think Sydney would eat your brand. I think it would really, like, if you could find a way of, yeah, you're right about that kind of Marrickville enclave, and there are some other, big shops around, but the big shops are only interested in contract stuff. They're printing for U2 or whoever, Coldplay, that kind of thing. And there's definitely a space, in my view, because it's such a big market, to, well, look at what Angel does. Go back to Halo again. They've found that niche. They've got a very strong brand with a particular flavor to it. And they do fantastically. I know they're in Sydney, but I'm sure there is a way of getting your story, your narrative around your brand in there. And I think Sydney is less conservative, and it would understand that more. So I encourage you to try and press into that and see if you can get some traction.
How would you recommend we do that?
Well, maybe obviously, well, now we need to talk about advertising and marketing.
Yeah.
So if we go back to your question, how do you interface, face to face, literally with people? Maybe you can find a way of doing that. I don't know what the answer to that is, but there's plenty of good festivals and other events that, you can get a quick pop-up, get a gazebo, do some live screen printing, get your cards out, maybe buddying with another affiliate type organization, or just something that, maybe a clothing brand. Like, we're looking at partnering with clothing brands. They go to various events and they do a pull up with our stuff. They give away free tees from our stuff and give away business cards, because they're not printers. They're just, and they get asked all the time. That may be an option. But then you might want to kind of look at your target marketing on advertising using Meta, for example, or Google AdWords, which is very, very sophisticated now. I don't know if you've done any Meta ads.
Well, yeah, it's come up recently, and we just haven't got to the point where we can really afford to pay a marketing person. We've always just done it ourselves and just had to go and make it. We've definitely, that's one thing that we've been asking other businesses, is just how much do you spend on, do you hire a marketing person, and what do you expect to pay that person, not including the ads, but to sort all that out, or can we do it alone just from asking Google? I don't know. We haven't got that far.
Josh, do you want to start on that one?
We were using someone managing our ads and stuff. We did it for probably 6 months last year. I think it was last year. And it started really good, but I think you got to have the right agency. Ours was, he was a customer as well. He's over in the UAE now, if it's still there. But I think managing the ads is one thing, but the creative, I think, is probably just as important. And we were sort of supplying him just what we thought was good, and then he was just running the ads. But it was, after a while, I was I don't think, we decided we would get better return on investment by spending that same money in doing little sample kits, I guess, for clients we would like to work with, just with a couple of hats, couple of shirts, whatever, in a nice box, and drop it off to them. I think at least then it's targeted, because the kind of work we're getting from that marketing wasn't really anything decent. lots of there'd be inquiries, but not so much serious buyers or like clients we want to work with. So I think it's right having the right one, but it's also a bit of money. But Sam, I think, does a lot of social media ads now. We don't do any anymore at the moment, but
yeah, we've never used an outside agency. We are about to engage with an individual who does that rather than an agency. I feel like there's more transparency if you just deal with a one person business, and their focus is to obviously analyze what we do, but to work out where the return of investment is against the spend for us. Because for us, there's recurring revenue, customers coming back, which for us is 60% of the new customers. So that builds year by year, which is good. And that gives you a nice kind of slow progression, which there'll come a point where you want that. You don't want to keep doubling. You'll fall over and start asking why you're doing it at all. So analyze that. They'll analyze the return of investment from channels that, just natively coming to our website or coming to our online system through Deca Network. But they'll also analyze, I forget what it's called. I think it's called a ROAS, but it's a return of investment around the actual spend and the hits you get, but also, what dollars that turns into. That's gold if you can get to that, because in theory, and I know it's not, the ratios change the bigger it gets. But in theory, if let's say you're spending $100 a day and you're getting, I don't know, $5,000 of return on that, is it true that if you spend $200, you'll get 10,000? That's the question, because if that works, or you'll get, what point is it becoming diminishing return? And is that quite soon? Is that affected by your demographic, your location, the types of ads you're putting in? Are they too complex? Is it the wrong brand? So they're going to analyze that, and I'm quite excited about that. But that's a new thing for us. We do all our own stuff. I mean, again, I'm sort of slightly, maybe I shouldn't be, but I feel slightly ashamed at our Instagram feed. But we got loads of followers because we went really hard at it. Years ago, we just went crazy. And then one of my other daughters actually used to do that work for us. And then she had a second baby and needed to be that kind of stay-at-home mum. And so we lost that, and it came back to me. And our numbers started to decline. No. I was like, wow. And you analyze, actually, you're getting like 50 new followers a day, but that day you might lose 60. You know what I mean? It's really interesting. Anyhow, so we do all our own meta ads. We predominantly just push that into Instagram, but we have other Instagram feeds. So we've created Instagram feeds for other markets that we tap. There's one of the problems with having, a big account like the Ministry of Shirts one is every screen printer in the country's in it. And so all our adverts appear on their feeds as well, right? So, I mean, it's just the way it is. All our adverts are online anyway. All our prices are online. So that allows us to segment things a little. But we could spend $300 a day. At times we've even spent $500 a day and seen huge returns, but it's much easier for us to bring that down to 100, 150 a day and just monitor what's happening. There are certain seasons when we would ramp it up. So right now, for us, we do a lot of kids camps, and we're coming up to Easter. We do a lot of Christian, a big market for us is the Christian community, and obviously Easter is significant for them too, right? So we will ramp that up, and then and that will probably continue actually right the way to October, and then we'll start to turn it down so that we can kind of slow the income moving into shutdown for us at Christmas. But the other thing I was going to say, I'm just giving it all away because I feel like it's you know, yeah, I mean, why not, right? If I go out of business next week, we'll know why.
Don't worry.
We package deals, so we only advertise deals. We might send out an email saying, "Oh, we now do this. Oh, and by the way, you can order online over here." But we create landing pages for new deals constantly, and our customers kind of wait for the new deal to come out, and they go, "Oh, all right." Or they might write to us to say, what are your deals at the moment on hoodies or whatever, and we direct them to the page. And we found that to be the most advantageous, rather than just saying, "Hey, this is us, we're here, and we do this thing called screen printing." We just want to get the product in front of them as cleanly and as simply as we can. We'll do a little bit of work on the kind of images that we use for given markets. So a bit kind of careful, I think, with that. And also the products that we choose. For instance, right now, I looked at this the other day. We've got adverts out for block tubulars, staples, classics, and 5101 supply hoodies. And for some reason, everyone's clicking on the classics advert, the 5026 classic. That would be, you know, a garment we don't sell quite that much. It would normally be a tubular or a staple or a basic. And so just knowing that's really helpful to you. And then you can say, well, how many quotes are we getting in for classic tees? All right, maybe people are suddenly more interested in those, or box tees or heavies.
Did you say that you have different landing pages for each sale?
Okay. For different markets. So we might have a generic landing page for, you know, hoodies and tees that are on special deals.
Which is linked through your ads. I'm just trying to understand how it works.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
cool.
we create the page.
Go to that page, that market.
Yeah.
Okay,
so there'll be one going up in the next week, which will be for camps. And then we'll market that one just to churches and youth pastors and those kind of people. And yeah, the link will just go back to that page rather than, so it's more idiosyncratic. It makes them feel like, you know, we're doing this for them. And, you know, there's another one for breweries and, you know, and that works well. They're all the same prices. They're all the same products, but it's just marketing, right?
Yeah.
So
is that landing page like hosted on your website?
Yeah.
Okay.
And the
we're all
forms,
just like, page.
Yes.
the forms are run out of a different system that are embedded in the pages. But yeah, it's and we did a big cleanup of our website at the beginning of the year. But even the website, you know, it's just cheap and cheerful, very simple, just gets down to it, you know, gets people into getting that quote in. That's the most important thing, really.
I have a question about sales, but you finish.
Yeah, the only other thing I was going to say is the other thing we do is email outs. You know, we collect data, and I recently got in a bit of trouble with that, but we were doing 150,000 emails a month, and now we're doing about 60,000. But yeah, just keeping them up to date, but not weekly. You don't want to end up spamming your customers. They'll just go bonkers, and they're personal emails. They're not glitzy. Oh, look at this newslettery, funky pictures and everything. It's just, hey, just want to let you know we're now doing this. You know, quick email, nothing long. No one's going to read a long email when it's a marketing email.
Not designed, are you saying? Like, is it just text, just like information?
The way we do it is we'll put text information. So there'll be a header that says, you know, autumn deals coming out soon. Look out for this one. And it will just cut straight to the chase. And I'll literally say that, something like, look, you know, not going to hold on here. I'm just sending you this. These are costing this. This is the minimum quantity. And underneath that, there's a nice image, which actually is just a screenshot of what their particular market page looks like. And obviously there's a button and a link, and they go to it there. And often they'll just reply. They'll just say, hey, give me a quote for 25 of these or whatever it is. And then I bounce that on to Martini. But yeah, that's what we do. Seems to work.
We've really stuffed ourselves there. I think we were using MailChimp originally, and we added a whole heap of people to that, and then MailChimp now doesn't work anymore, and our website's through Squarespace, but we've only got 8 subscribers. And so we don't really know how to like ask permission to import all of our contacts, which would be like thousands. Don't really know what to do about that, if you're honest.
It's tricky.
And we were talking about it literally last night, because I was just like, all right, maybe the newsletter, like something like that. And then I looked on Instagram, and it was like some brand has been fined like 700,000.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
I saw that.
Yeah.
That was almost Sam.
Yeah, I think that was me.
Yeah.
Three. They sent us a scare thing for $300 and something thousand, and they said we can do that for every email. And I said, it's 150,000 emails. You know, I'll go and give Elon Musk a call. You know what I mean? It's kind of ridiculous. But yeah, I just thumb my nose at people like that. But
we'll just keep working on our list.
I think that's the thing. I mean, we're very careful in that we don't use our normal email infrastructure for all that marketing, so that it's separated out with a different domain that forwards to us. But if there's a problem, if people are trying to shut that down, it doesn't affect our normal emails. So we have learned a few things like that, but you've got to be really careful. And I guess you could just email them saying, look, we just want to check you're okay to be on this email list. Email back, or click the link at the bottom to say unsubscribe. You know, we don't want to offend you. Our one, the complaint that we got was from a glider club somewhere, and they weren't on our list, but they had a forwarding email that was on our list, but they didn't know what it was. And so it's like, well, you need to, like, what can I do? It's not our fault, kind of thing. But yeah, you do. So we do a lot of emails, but they're segmented. So we've got, X number of breweries, X number of churches, and so on, and so that we can target market them.
That's cool.
Yeah, that tends to
good idea.
Tends to work for us. So you had a question about sales or something?
It might have been answered already. I think it was just like, no, I can't remember now. I think you've answered it already. Yeah, we're so new. Like I said, we're so small that basically up until this year we haven't really needed to spend anything on marketing. It's just been local community word of mouth has kept us rolling at capacity. But yeah, this year has been quite quiet so far, which is how I think, Josh, you found us, because I posted on the screen printing Facebook page. Oh, maybe that was you, Sam. I don't know.
Sam, I think. Yeah.
I did see that.
So, which is surprising, because it's like, we've done our first 3 years. I think everyone that is in business had that like one-liner of like, yeah, you won't really start noticing profit until like after 3 years or something. Like last year was great. I think last year was a really good year, and yeah, now this year has come and we're like, oh, okay, we might need to start doing something, because maybe it's the world in turmoil, maybe because like all of our customers are also small businesses, so like interest rate rises kind of hit them quite quickly, and we're the first to go from the, oh, we don't have enough money, we're not going to get those shirts, or like we'll get them cheaper somewhere else. So yeah, it's really just got us thinking more about marketing and getting into the local community more, and yeah, so this has been really helpful. Yeah, I don't know, we're still very small, but learning as we go.
Yeah, and I think that 3-year, statement that people make, if you can survive 3 years, you're probably going to go fine. I think that's probably true if you're growing, right? If there's no growth, then obviously, even small growth is good, because growth allows you to kind of project and, work out the funding for things, and work out where to make your processes better. And, price obviously is a key factor depending on the market that you're in. You need to really, researched that carefully. We're now all up against these, I call them the spotty teenager in the back room with a little DTF account and a heat press, claiming and they got no overheads, right? So they're able to really undercut.
Yeah.
We don't take part in that discussion. We just say, no, this is our price, take it or leave it. They're pretty good, our prices, I think. But
well, that's one thing that we've been really battling with this, because we always sort of started everything with this like eco-friendly approach, although you were saying that there is water-based DTF, which is cool to know. Like we've always sort of wanted to just be screen printing and embroidery. We outsource our embroidery to another local business, but recently we've just realized like we can't lose those customers. It's too too much to lose someone who can't meet the price point. But so we are introducing like outsourcing DTF, but we might start doing it as well. So that's cool to hear about the water-based DTF. What brand is that?
They're all, not all of them, but most of them are doing it now. So all the big DTF printers, like the 9-color printers, they're switching over. So there's water-based and there's chroma water-based for CMYK, and the chroma water-based is literally just coming out now. We use DTF Station, which in Australia is Tajima, who I've got nothing bad to say about. They're just amazing, really, really good, brilliant product. And certainly if you can get your own machine, it doesn't have to be a big one, just a small one with an oven. The cost of creating your own DTF compared to outsourcing is unbelievable, which means you can move in the market so much better than someone outsourcing everything. But the problem in my view with DTF is the speed of pressing. So the transfers take a long time to print, but you're not really babysitting them. You just turn it on, come back and check it every 20 minutes, and it just chances away for hours and hours and hours. The issue isn't that. The issue is cutting the transfers and pressing them. And if you can only press, 60 T-shirts an hour, it's not great, right, for our industry.
Yeah.
So that people now have double-headed heat presses where their head. In fact, you've got one of those, haven't you, Josh? Yeah.
Yeah.
Head moves, presses one, moves back, presses the other, and we have a thing that's a little bit faster than that. But finding a way of making that efficient in terms of the process is going to, make the money for you and allow you to do even smaller runs where people can't afford color. And I think that's an important service. Why should customer X not be able to afford to have a full color print, let's say, because they only need 20 or whatever it is? But I feel like it's a good complementary thing, but we wouldn't put a brewery on it, or, you know what I mean? Like they want a proper good screen print simulated process or whatever it is.
So it's mainly, for us it would be to really capture, because like our minimum order is 10, but we only have a max of 6 colors. So there's definitely a whole group of people that want less than 10 and way more than 6 colors that we would usually lose or outsource. But surprisingly though, like I think through the way that we come across on our socials and stuff, it does tend to attract people with simpler logos, but we do want to capture the trades and just people that do have a multicolored logo, that we don't have to lose them or drastically change their brand. So we have been thinking about that for a while.
Yeah, I was listening to one of the podcast episodes, and Sam, you were saying that at that time, I don't know, it was probably the Halo episode, but you'd just gotten a new machine and you were kind of battling with that. I guess, how have you guys found like introducing a whole new style of printing?
We were doing DTF before, but a lot. We print a fair amount here, and we're finding that was working well for certain kinds of things, and it helps us load balance the output in our shop so that it's not all the pressure and effort is on, a 10 color automatic that maybe can print 600 an hour, but you actually need to print 900 an hour. So it helps us kind of balance them out a little bit. In fact, sometimes it balances the other way. We say, no, let's take that back. Let's put 6 colors on the press. We haven't got time to fit that in. The actual, so the DTF printer, man, that was back to, why do we do this? Tears, like, why doesn't that work? What's wrong? It was crazy. And that, talking about my daughter, that was a moment of, real falling out opportunities. But we just, like all of these things that we do, we just dialed it in gradually and got advice from the industry and from Tajima, and learned how to do it. That thing will print most day, all day. I mean, it just chews up 100-meter rolls all the time. And it's great. We've nailed that, I think. The hard thing was not just having that, but having that interrupt, like it becomes a business unit on its own. So suddenly, you've got 3 people working on a screen print press with an oven, and they're all going crazy and it's super hot. And then you've got, another person running a rock, another person on a traditional clamshell compressed air heat press, and someone else has got to set up all the print jobs for the DTF. And so that kind of really interrupted all of the processes.
Yeah.
And it took us a while to iron that out. And, suddenly all the screens that needed reclaiming were backing up. And so, you get to the end of the week and you go, why haven't we done, there's 100 screens. It was, did you forget that that's what we do? Everyone's looking at the rock and going, isn't it wonderful? So that took us a while to get our head around that. But I feel like we've got it. We have another online site, which is, so for us, we have a multi-branded strategy as a business. Most people only know the Ministry of shirts, but we have these other brands as well. And we have one that's basically just standard e-commerce online. People can buy one garment, and then the team will just put that print in the run for the day. It's no big deal. That interrupts the business a lot, because you've got a press doing, I don't know, 1,000 prints, let's say, and then you've got a press doing 300 an hour of maybe 10 different jobs, and then there's one's going to come through and, oh, should I do that, or are you going to do you see what I mean? When we sort of scaled it down that way, it became a problem. And I think ultimately we're going to have to train a team just to do that, just those little things. Each day they can, print them or whatever. So we found that hard, but it's been good. One of the things that, I don't know, Josh, whether you experience this or whether you guys experience it too, but you can never catch up. It's always about balancing what's in the pipeline. And we've got a system which is called Monday, which just allows us to prioritize everything and see very quickly where a job's at or why it's on hold or whatever it is. And every morning the team meet. We have a meeting. Lydia, my daughter, she runs that. She says, look, we're going to do this today. Those 3 jobs have got to be finished. We've got to get that on a truck without fail, or whatever it is. And she'll reprioritize that, and she'll send the teams in 2 different directions. But then something will come in, we need this by Friday, or we thought we'd paid for this, sorry, we forgot, and we need it on Friday in Perth, or and you just think, man, how are we going to do that? Having DTF can take the pain out of that. But one of the things we found is historically we never catch up until that final shutdown, where we have the deadline at Christmas, normally about the 12th or the 13th of December. We know we're going to stop on the 20th or 22nd, and the orders may still come in, but they're not going to be printed to the second week of January. But what we found with the Rock and with the Anatole, both running is we can get up to 1,200 garments an hour. And so our output is massive, but we actually can keep up with everything. So the pipeline's sort of narrower. And that's really nice. That's because it makes it easier to manage. And if someone does come on and say, I need this by Friday, we go, right, okay, let's get the stock. Let's put it up the chain. Let's get it out on Wednesday or whatever. And that's been brilliant. But it's freaked us out as a team. We're like, doesn't feel like we're busy, but we've been flat out. Like we're doing more than we normally would do. And that's peculiar for us. So that's nice. But yeah, I mean, so DTF was hard work. But I think if you go down that route, just really research it as much as you can. What are the best color fast inks, the best longevity? I've got a video I've got to do of a job where it's got this kind of beautiful red mottled grey color print, big print on the back. And we decided to DTF it as a test. I can't remember how many it was. Anyway, we left one behind deliberately, and the other one we washed 73 times with clothes, with a warm wash, not a hot wash, but not a cold one. And they were dried with the rest of the washing, in the sun every day with the transfer out. And then we compared them. Almost impossible to notice the difference.
Really?
But I do know that certain inks, it would be gone, it'd be faded, it'd be cracking, So research that real careful, especially if you're outsourcing. Find out what inks they're using, find out whether they're a CMYK or whether it's 9. If it's CMYK, you're going to struggle to get a good Pantone, right? Because we've got 9 colors, you're going to get that much better. So find out what RIP software they're using, because some are better than others. So we used to outsource, and we had every week we'd be like, this isn't the right green. Like, have you not looked at the artwork? We didn't check, and then how what meterage can you get out an hour? Everybody boasts and brags about, I can get 15 meters an hour. Yeah, don't believe that, but it's just the way people are, I guess. But yeah, that was our experience of it. And now we're quite dependent on it. So, we're thinking maybe of getting a second one for redundancy or speed up the print time a bit. Don't know where we put it, but anyway, that's a thought. But you do DTF, Josh, you outsource?
We outsource for now. It's on our list. It's something we do need to do. I think we do enough of it that we should be doing it ourselves. But it's the same thing, like probably the same concerns you guys have. I just have heard all the stories. None of them are generally good. And it's just that time. Like, I know it's got to take my time to get it like set up. So just trying to time that at the right time. But maybe it's never the right time. You just got to make it work. So
yeah.
But yeah, I think it's like hearing the saving. Like, you think DTF's not that expensive, but it kind of like it's up there for like a big print. It gets pretty pricey.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, we're so stunned because like we assume that we're always getting beaten by price on DTF, and like we do a quick ring around and it's never crazy cheap. Yeah, we're always stumped about who beats us on price. But again, it's probably like you were saying, Sam, just the people out of their garage that have no overheads.
Yeah.
Who always win on price. But yeah, Josh, so do you have mainly screen or embroidery, or what's your main in-house?
We started with just screen and then we added embroidery. And I'd say probably embroidery is our main thing now. And then DTF, because we do a lot of uniforms, so it's generally like shorter run, repeat orders, a lot of tradies and stuff. And then we do a bit of screen printing, but not heaps, to be honest. but yeah, that's sort of our main thing.
Josh has an
Yeah.
auto that
I have an auto.
he's never put
Do
together.
you want to buy it?
Really?
It's still on the pallets. It's all clean now. We spent
Right.
the start of the year cleaning it up to sell it.
Right.
That's
But it's a
Yeah.
long story.
What brand is it? How
It's
many
a TAS, 12 colors, 10 stations. It's got
Oh,
your
wow.
name all over it.
Yeah, well, we've
We,
got what is it? It's 8 stations, 4 colors, but only 2 colors work basically.
doing.
We need
We
Yeah,
had
we
a-
can upgrade to the new clean one on the pallet.
Yeah. We had an issue with the power here. So,
Uh-huh.
and I guess the reason we don't do heaps of screen printing is because I'm the screen printer and I can't do the business and screen print at the same time.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what has pushed us in the direction we've gone, I guess.
And
Yeah.
it's hard to get good screen printers to come work for you as well.
Oh,
It's very
yeah.
hard.
Yeah.
We lucked out with our one employee who did she learn through us?
Yeah.
Olivia?
Yeah.
Yeah. She was
We were
she-
so put
yeah.
off by our experiences of trying to
Mhm.
introduce people to screen printing, and then we just got this dreamboat came in and she was just I mean, she just
just
had
loved
that
it.
care to detail and she loved it, and she just picked up on it so quickly, like quicker than either of us had.
100%.
Good.
That's really, really lucky. Really
Yeah.
fortunate.
Yeah,
I've
we're
got
so lucky to have her.
something to show you. This will drive Josh completely mad.
Is this a like DTF embroidery? What is this?
Yeah, this is DTF embroidery,
Uh-huh.
which is just DTF, right? Just to be really clear.
Yeah.
It's just the artwork's made to look like embroidery. I
Oh.
can't quite get close enough,
I can
including
see.
the kind of embroidery edge. Look at the white letters.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
And we actually have had a couple of customers ask for it, Josh.
Really?
Josh does all of our embroidery, by the way, which isn't a massive
cool.
thing at all. But yeah, and I said to him, well, yeah.
What do
we
you
can
think
this.
of it? Because I've seen, because we do a lot of promo products as well, and one of our main promo suppliers offers it, and I've only seen it from them, so the quality is not like fantastic. But I'm like, I don't know if I like it or not.
I've seen people doing it in screen printing as well, trying to make it look like the embroidery texture. And I'm always just like, but why don't you just get the real thing?
Exactly. That would be my answer. Why bother? Other than it's a lot cheaper, right?
Yeah.
But why do you want to replicate something as touchy-feely as an embroidery when you know, it just doesn't make sense. But yeah, I have fooled a couple of people with this. Like, you know, I've got one somewhere on a t-shirt and you go, oh, nice embroidery. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's another option. Just going back to DTF printers, there are, you know, you don't have to spend heaps of money and get these giant things. There are some smaller ones, right? Like that still have ovens and like they're smaller form factors that will print, you know, it's the same technology, they're CMYK, but you can get those for a lot less money and satisfy, you know, all your DTF needs. The reason I'm saying it is that if you've got a really big print, I don't know, 50 centimeters tall, let's say, and 40 centimeters wide, that's going to cost you $8 to $10 to outsource that to get those, even if you have 100 of them. But it'll cost you 30 cents if you print it yourself. Now that gives you massive leverage in the market for full color.
Yeah.
So, you know, it may be too early for that. I don't know, but you don't have to spend 50 grand and, you know, go crazy. It might be $5,000 that you need to spend and, you know, you can get into that market.
What about the inks and stuff like that? Like how often, I mean, even printing our films sometimes breaks the bank. How, like surely you need to refill inks on a DTF printer pretty regularly, right? Or...
Well, it's funny. Yes, if it's white. So obviously white's being used as an underbase continually. I would say, I think we got that DTF machine in July. And I would say of the other 8 colors, they're huge, bottles like this. I'd say we've probably gone through those twice. But of the white, we'd go through 5 to 10 bottles a week.
Wow.
Because
and how much is a bottle?
I think a bottle is around $110.
Yeah. But you're doing massive print runs, hey?
Yeah, like, we could print with that. We did print for it only a couple of weeks ago for 13 hours in one sitting, but at least be 4 hours a day. It's just a lot. But yeah, I mean, it's still very cheap to run.
Yeah.
You need an oven. There's a bit of electricity there, I guess.
An oven like a tunnel dryer, or is it a different oven?
It's a tunnel dryer.
Would you
Yeah.
use the same as your screen printing or no?
Say again?
Same as your screen printing one or no?
No, it's different to that. I mean, it's the same principle, but it's not forced, although there is a lot of air. It's not forced air. So, the film it's printed, it comes out and it goes into a hopper that applies the powder, goes up and it goes across a flatbed, a tunnel, and then an oven, and then it curves around and there's a little bit more of the oven there. And then it goes through a cooler and then onto the roll. So, and you need a filter to take the fumes away, which isn't a big deal really. So yeah, I think the problem we had was and it's pretty basic, but learning how to use the film correctly. Because if the film is slightly out, it tracks out all the way through the whole process, and then it puckers up near the head. If that happens, you get a head strike, and you might have a 4-head machine and they're like $4,000 a piece. You know what I mean? Like everyone's paranoid about damaging the heads. And it took us a while to work that out and feel confident with that and keeping those heads clean, which now we, just got a procedure we do and it works fine. That was our big issue. The other thing, actually, just one other thing that does come to mind is controlling the oven temperature is critical to get a good transfer. And obviously you can do that if you've got your own machine. If you're outsourcing that, you're kind of in their hands a bit. But that took us a while to dial that in correctly. But yeah, it's fine. It works. Does what it's supposed to do. Pretty well.
And Josh, do you outsource your DTF to Sam if he?
No. We won't give it to anyone because we haven't got time. But you do outsource. Where do you go, mate? Unless you don't want to say, I don't know. Maybe you don't. You got a few.
Everyone uses we go to Print Factory. Everyone uses them. I guess they do a good job. So,
cool.
Yeah. Flavor Pops, the other company we used to use.
They've sent samples to us, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. You can deal directly with them.
They're in Sydney, hey?
No, they're in Canberra.
Canberra, yeah, right.
The guy who owns it actually lives in Bali, but he's in Australia regularly enough. He's an Aussie that just chose to live out there. But yeah, but you need to find out what machines they're using and do some research.
Yeah. You definitely unlocked a new fear now. I hadn't thought about that. Now I'm like,
oh dear.
What are they doing? Got enough to worry about what we're doing, and now we're going to worry about someone. That's funny.
So I've got some questions that we always come up with questions. You guys might have some other questions. I need to finish about 8:30 tonight. These are questions for everyone, but has anyone thought of doing free delivery, or does anyone do free delivery?
Sometimes it feels like we do. We undercharge. Like,
Could you subsidize it or something?
We probably do in a way. Our shipping is based on the value of the order.
Mhm.
So, and it's kind of just to make the number sexy. Like no one's thinking, oh, that's really expensive. But I think we have enough sort of margin there to like
Chuck
generally
in.
if they're spending that much, there's probably money like a bit there that could go towards whatever maybe.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
So do you do it fully free or you make it subsidized based on the size of the order?
We just charge for it. We've just got some price settings. So like an order between $10, like whatever, and 50, it'll probably fit into like a satchel. So it's like $15, or 50 to 100 might be like 27 or something like that, and so on. I feel like, yeah, and because we charge that up front, you kind of don't really know, and it's too much of a pain in the ass to check shipping all the time.
Yeah.
So I feel like what we've got kind of works. It could probably be better, but
you don't have to ship to WA or Tassie or NT or anything, or
we do a bit for one of our clients, and they're like, it's in the ag industry, so they're always like in the middle of absolute nowhere. And those, if it's something big, I'll quote ahead, because there's been a few times I'm like, well, we will quote this one next time.
Yeah.
But yeah, we don't do heaps over that way, and they're our biggest client, so they spend enough money everywhere else, so like kind of evens out-ish.
Totally. Yeah, we used to do a lot of free deliveries. Like, I think it was more when you were in town, Emma. So we had, because we just don't have enough people at the shop. Like, if I'm sometimes there alone, so I can't really like leave early in case someone comes in or needs to pick something up. That's how small we are. And like, but yeah, we definitely had a time of free deliveries, and I think it went unappreciated for a little while, and we were like, you know what, no. And then we stopped. But now we're thinking of bringing it back, because there are some I feel like it would be good now, because we have so many like just really good clients that I feel like I would like to deliver, but it would take time out of my day personally. But then we were thinking of like hitting up Fiverr, you know, that app, getting people to do it for us for money. But yeah,
I'm keen to do, I mean, especially because I've just been working alone, just like hello on my computer. I'm keen to do it when I come back, just so that I can have that face-to-face like interaction with people. And yeah, I think we work with a lot of beautiful clients that I would love to see their space, like get more of an understanding of their space. But that's all just local delivery. That's not like, you know,
interstate or anything. Yeah.
We always think of like random promotions that we can do, and delivery is one of the things. But like you say, Lise, it's like if it's Queensland or Tassie, we will definitely lose out.
I think we've done, maybe it was with our old boss, he did like a free delivery, and it was like, one box. But I don't know, I just feel like at the time there were so many interstate orders so far away that we were like, he can't have thought this through. Like, but yeah, we should look into it again. But yeah, no, I was totally thinking of like actual physical driving deliveries around, which we have done. But yeah, we'll do some. Yeah, free deliveries is a good sales point as well.
Yeah, I wonder whether it will get leverage and, you know, be the thing that takes you across the line. We have a brewery somewhere in Adelaide. They're pretty big customer for us, and they come on, like an order of hoodies for them would cost $400 to deliver, just the delivery cost, right? And they come on every time and they say, our other printer, the delivery's free. And I say, where are they? And they say, oh, they're literally just down the road. And I always say, well, why are you coming to us? Because our prices are better than theirs and our garments are better, right? Our prints are better. Yeah. So you know, why would we deliver it for free? And what we do with that is we put in the delivery rate, and then underneath we put subsidized, and we just put a minus figure, but we don't give the whole discount, you know. So if it costs 400, they might get 320 or something. But usually on those big orders, there's more than enough profit to cater for it anyway. And we don't want to lose a customer like that. So I guess there's that question of who are they? Do we want them? Do we want to keep them? You know, how do we keep them happy, basically?
Well, that could probably be, if we wanted to try and break into the Sydney market, we could offer free delivery, because I think that's basically it. It's like, you've got someone down the road, why would I pay for delivery from Wollongong? So
yeah.
We have a client. If we don't choose a delivery or shipping option in the quote that says like pick up, that the client can choose it. He will choose delivery every time. It's a gym 6 minutes away from us, and I'll just drop it on the way home.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, well, but he's like, he'll be like, oh, can I pay for delivery? I'm like,
no.
okay. Yeah, I'm like, I'll just stop on the way home, because I'm kind of going that way.
Funny.
People are weird.
So he does pay for it every time, but it's just
huge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, now, if he places an order online or whatever, he'll because they have a store with us. He'll choose shipping. It's insane.
Time is money, I guess.
Yeah.
No, that's funny.
We always calculate it at the end of the job. I don't know. We've never really considered putting it in the quote of the job, only because I think we just don't trust ourselves to calculate it properly. But I guess if you have the right price point, you can sort of have a bit of leeway there, which is kind of interesting point.
Do you guys get payment up front?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. And then you just send an invoice for delivery
Separately
later?
for shipping.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Like, and if they really want to know, like, we can calculate it when the goods arrived and we've put them in the correct box. But yeah, we just really struggle with, because usually our orders it's not 50 t-shirts, or you know how like 12 hoodies will fit in a box. It's like 2 hoodies and 3 Barnards and 1 tank top, and it's like 1,000 different things. You just can't possibly know how big the parcel is going to be. But maybe you guys have that kind of technology. We don't have that kind of technology.
We just use FedEx for our deliveries. And we know what the flat rate is for most of the states. So if it is Tassie or Perth, you know, WA, we will go and check the actual price and we'll put that in. But
for a box, or
sorry,
are you calculating that on like an AS color box size kind of thing?
Yeah. So what's that, 30, 40, 60 or something close to that. And to be honest, even if it isn't, the guys probably just type that in anyway, because they're just sort of so used to doing that. And I know it's a bit, it sort of balances out, as you were saying, Josh, like every now and again, you're kind of like, oh, actually, we charged them $42. It was actually 28, you know, that's good. But often we charge them 36 and it was 38. And to be blunt, you know, that's okay. It works. It's not a big issue. You mentioned at the beginning of the podcast, how big is big enough, I think is my way of sort of paraphrasing it, or how big is too big? You know, at what point does it become a problem? And I guess if I can maybe have a go at answering that, it depends what you're trying to achieve, obviously. But if you're in this for money, which none of us are really, I mean, I know some people are, or if that, you know, if it's primarily to make a buck, and you know that is going to damage your brand. As soon as people get their head around that, oh, these guys are only looking for as much money as they can get out of each job. having said that, obviously you've got to treat it that way in a sense of, I need to know what it costs to run this business and how much we should be charging and what size deals we should do and all of that kind of thing. But if you're doing it for satisfaction to earn a good enough salary, then what I would say is you need to look at the growth and work out at what point the yield and profit is enough to pay yourselves really well, and then work out how to stay there. That's much harder to do than it might seem, because tonight we're talking about marketing. How do we get into Sydney? How do we get more online? How do we, get transparency on Instagram or whatever? And you're going to invest in that and ramp that up. And it's not just a dripping tap. It's a faucet that's, really going for it. And it's really hard to turn that off. It's not just a question of stopping advertising because you've got recurring customers. And so I don't know exactly where that happens, where you go, right, enough is enough. But occasionally I think of it and say, we were a little bit happier when we moved from manual to auto, but the business grew too quickly at that point that we actually had to, we either had to say to customers it takes 6 weeks to deliver, which obviously is a no-no, or we had to get, another auto and, expand to bigger premises or whatever. And so with us, we grew inordinately for the first 5 years, and then we were able to kind of slow that growth. And that was so important because we just, like I said earlier, we would just fall over if we had to keep growing like that. But then our overheads grew, our investment grew. And so it's kind of a little bit tighter now than it was, and it's less comfortable, and it's a little bit more stressful. And so if you're able to kind of watch that as it happens, if you're able to clock in on that and go, hang on a sec, we're making this much extra profit, which is the bit that matters. And that's good because we can take that as salary or bonus or whatever, or buy a car or whatever it is. And our stress levels aren't so bad. But if you continue to keep growing, even incrementally, there'll come a point when you say, we need that fourth person. And Lisa now needs to do deliveries or more front of house or whatever it is. Everything starts to change. At that point, everyone talks about, oh, and I need to work on the business, which is true, and not in it. But to do that, you've got to be quite big, and you've got to have quite a relentless sort of rolling custom coming in to feed everyone. And I feel like when you get to that stage, it's kind of where we're at. It's really, really hard to manage, and it's much more stressful. So just that's the only way I can answer that. So it's different for different people, I guess is what I'm saying. And keeping your eye on that and watching that growth and working out what works well, reshaping your deals. Maybe a minimum at 10 isn't going to work. Too many jobs, smaller runs. Maybe
we only do that when we're quiet. Yeah, usually it's 20. We've considered putting it up to 30 when we're really busy as well. But it just fluctuates based on people coming through. But yeah, it's interesting. That's good advice, though. We do want to keep it small to an extent, I think, or at least not expand too much. So yeah, maybe some slow times are all right.
Why not? Kind of relax a bit and analyze your average order value. So if you're doing, I don't know, 500 orders a year or something, and your average order value is X, how can you just get another couple of dollars onto just that one order, multiplied by 500, right? Starts to add up. So just to kind of tweak that a little bit, reshape it a little bit, twist the ratios, maybe charge a little bit more for delivery, maybe not, maybe build it into the cost of the t-shirt. So average order values are important. Start analyzing the percentage of conversions you get from your quotes to your invoices, because that'll tell you so much, right? If you're doing 100 quotes and you're getting 5 invoices, something's very wrong. You got to find out what that is, switch that around, reshape it, the price is modified, different garments, whatever it is, till you get, that at least 50% you want.
Okay. That's cool.
People say, and I don't know where these stats come from, if you can be the first person to respond to a quote, if someone wants to buy T-shirts, they send a quote to Northprint, they send a quote to Softpower, they send a quote to Ministry of Shirts. The first person to respond to them is 80% more likely to get that work. And it's the same if you go to a shop and you're browsing, you're not sure what you want to buy and you're wandering around. You know how the shops always send the person over, hey, can I help you? Right? I'm just browsing, right? Get lost. I don't know what I want to buy, right? But imagine you do know what you want to buy and you can't get that sales assistant to come and help you. Eventually, you'll just leave, right? And it's the same with this response. So we have a KPI, got to answer get a quote and a mock-up out within an hour, but preferably straight away if you can. And that seems to work for us.
Do you do your mock-ups with the quote? And are they really accurate, or are they like made, I don't know, by an online program or something? Or
we have all our own templates that we've built. So there's a template for a staple tee, a block, etc., with all the colors in. And we have, to make it easier for the lady who does the sales here, like little kind of squares and everything where we would position everything. We know what the width of that is. And it's actually in a little table at the bottom that says back print 31 centimeters, left chest 10 centimeters, and so on. If there's anything irregular, we put it at the top, like, customers ask for the back print to be higher or whatever it is. And we just PDF them up, with all the other garments they want, all the colors. We have a templated email. So we do the quote, then straight away the email goes out, templated. That's it. And it has all the legals in the email, next steps. That's how we do it. Josh does quotes in a day. As he told me at the top of the show, you started a quote this morning and you just finished it. Did you tonight? What was it?
It was one of those days where the quote was a slow burner because you're getting pulled away from it for everything else.
Yeah, and that's right. That just happens, right? A quote could sit all weekend. I mean, and I think people know that. That's okay.
We find it hard. I know you're trying to wrap up, but with the mock-ups thing, a lot of our customers don't quite know what they want, and they're like, come to us for advice. So we've found that it doesn't quite work providing mock-ups with quotes, although if we could do it right every time, and it might be worth doing it just to get those sales coming through, but like often they're just like, oh, actually, can I see it on red in blue?
Oh, mate.
Can I see it?
No one has an imagination at all.
So it's like a lot of like our proofing stage before printing is often like several stages long, which we don't mind doing because they're paying. We've calculated, I guess, like our prices are quite high, so we calculate that time. But yeah, of course, I do feel like we would get a lot of jobs in quicker if we could do it that way and like send the. But I guess a mock-up is different to a proof, right? You can just be like, this is it quickly mocked up.
For us, that is the proof. I mean, sometimes if we're rebuilding the artwork, we'll build a proper vectored proof of that with their other mock-ups underneath it. But in most cases, the mock-up is the proof for us. We don't bother doing a separate thing.
Especially with digital though, right? Like,
yeah, or even just with screen printing, like, we know exactly pretty much what it's going to look like.
Yeah.
Occasionally a customer will go, I want the back print to be where the armpits are, and you think, man, I've got no idea how this industry works, right? We just politely write back and say, look, it's going to be different on a different shirt, and we actually don't work that way. It's not how things are done. But we actually, the industry standard, that's what we say, is here. And they always come back, oh, look, you know better. And,
Yeah.
awesome. But yeah, lots of stuff to learn and to build and develop and push. Any final thoughts? I've got a recommendation, which I was going to put forward. But any final thoughts or questions from any of us?
Just big thanks for having us on board. It's been so insightful. So
yeah,
good.
thanks.
Yeah.
It's insightful for us as well, right?
Yeah.
To learn about your brand and what you're trying to achieve and your narrative, which I think's got a bigger story yet. I think we're just touching the sort of tip of that, and your journey is going to become part of that brand, and as you grow and the trials that you face and so on, and that's got a long way to go in terms of it growing and being expressed, which is just the joy of running a business, right? The story evolves. And it's encouraging for me. I have always, and again, it's sexist, but I've always wanted to have more ladies on this podcast because it is so male dominated, and we often just talk about the same thing. And, and I mean, we're happy to get any guest on this podcast, but it's encouraging to me. I don't know, Josh, whether you feel the same way, to see a print shop that's doing this and is growing. And
I just love to see people having a go. So it's great to see people having a go.
So my recommendation is, you may be across this already, is there's a guy called Simon Sinek. Have you come across him? Sinek, Sinek is the spelling. He has a book called Start with the Why. People don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. That's your brand. And that's what you gave us as your story. We exist because here's an industry that's old and traditional and run by sweaty men. And we've got something different to bring to that story because of who we are and what we're like. And that's got a why in it in terms of the value that you're bringing to it. His books, it's a very interesting read. There's a TED talk somewhere on it. It's probably 10 years old, this book now. And he basically, what he does is he analyzes businesses that define their brand on the basis of what they build or how they build it or why they build it. And very few companies do the why. Apple is like the most prestigious, obvious one. Apple describes itself not as a computer company, but as a liberal arts company, right? That's completely different to Dell and HP and all the other computer companies. Oh, we build hardware, oh, look at our software. And Apple are not boasting about any of that. They're just saying, we do this to look good in terms of the product and to feel good in terms of how, and of course, it's the most expensive product there is. No one notices that part, right? So liberal art. And so Cynic will take you through how to kind of think about that. It's also about strategic leadership and how we run our businesses and work in life, and the brand that we have individually or as a family or whatever it is. And that I've run businesses for years. This is my favorite business, but I've used that concept throughout the last 4 businesses I've been involved in terms of how we build our brand and how we express ourselves. And if you can use that to get what I call a commerce of mindsets with your market, then they will become part of your brand. And that's what you're going to do with theirs. Like you said earlier, it's nice to actually deliver and see what they do and, say, oh, wow, really like what you're doing. This is amazing. It adds value to X, Y, and Z. And suddenly you've got this commerce of mindsets and you've got recurring revenue. You'll enjoy what you do more. And I'd say if you have a little look at that book, there's stuff in there about the limbic brain and everything, which I just kind of skirt over that. It's not, to me, that's not terribly interesting. but you can kind of imbibe that in your thinking, and as your brand grows and develops, it will become more pronounced, and your why will be evident to people. And the significance of that is, if you're buying a PC, I hope nobody uses a PC, Josh. We're all Apple here. You may, I don't know, look online, you see I don't really know all the Lenovo, is that one? Acer, HP, Dell, you look at them all, you look at a good value one and you'll make a decision. But if you buy Apple, you'll just keep buying Apple. So it becomes a thing of loyalty. And that's significant, right? So if you can get your brand out like that, people will come back to you. They like your values, they share them, and they're going to go the extra mile to buy from you. It might even be more expensive, but they prefer that. And that's good to try and get that. All right.
Yeah, that's good advice.
Yeah.
All right. Listen, it's been great to meet you. And
yeah, thanks, guys.
Just shout out if you've got any questions. I may not be able to answer them, but between the two of us, we might have some ideas. And you've got our contacts and our emails. And if you're ever up this way or up in Toowoomba, hey, Wollongong,
yeah, please.
I'll come and see you. Yeah.
For sure. Yeah.
Right.
Thank you so much, guys.
Thanks so much.
Thank you. And have
Awesome.
a good night.
Thanks, guys.
We'll see you later.
See ya.
See ya.
Bye.